Days to save big on brand names like Sony, Compaq, KitchenAid, and more. So hurry to Future Shop because this sale ends Saturday. And when it comes to saving big like this, there's just 3 more days.
Tonight on Channel 2 News at 11.
A minor car problem can turn into a major headache if you take it to the wrong repair shop.
2 on Your Side investigates what goes on when mechanics go under your hood.
Go for a repair shop ride on Channel 2 News at 11.
Gary Shandling and Hanson. Next, Rosie.
From ABC News, around the world and into your home, the stories that touch your life. This is 2020 Friday with Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer, Sam Donaldson, Connie Chung, Charles Gibson, and Hugh Downs. Tonight, it's the time-honored way that babies explore.
Every time she's playing with a toy, she's putting it in her mouth.
But that rubber ducky is really made of plastic. And serious questions are being raised about the substance that makes it soft.
It's not the duck that's dangerous, it's the chemicals in the duck.
Questions so serious that some countries want to ban the soft plastic toys that are the staple of every American baby's nursery and the source of big profits in the toy business.
There are a lot more interests at stake here than selling toys over the Christmas season. We're talking about the health and safety of children.
The toy industry says they're safe, but some scientists aren't sure.
We should be concerned about their exposure to the population, especially to children.
Can chemicals in the toys your baby chews be dangerous? Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross with a report every parent should see. Are your child's toys in trouble? And working up a sweat. You do it for your health. But here's something you haven't heard before. People who can't stop sweating.
Constantly sweating. It happens continually all the time.
Severe sweating, an embarrassing condition that affects more people than you think.
I just tell people I don't shake my hands or what, and then they look at you like, have you seen a psychiatrist?
Now, a startling new therapy is changing lives. A deadly poison leaving patients dry and high.
I can lift my arms, I can ride on a board. It's wonderful.
Dr. Timothy Johnson with a medical breakthrough that is taking the worry out of being close. No sweat. Then, superstar Mariah Carey. The singing sensation whose soaring voice and fierce determination brought her dazzling success.
I wanted to be a singer and a star.
But tonight, you'll meet the Mariah Carey you don't know. The lonely little girl hidden behind all the glamour.
Because I saw these things growing up, I went the other way.
She met and married a powerful record company executive who would become the architect of her career.
Is it true that Tommy Mottola was the first man that you went to bed with?
But the storybook wedding ended in divorce just a few years later amidst a swirl of ugly rumors.
It has been written that you were a virtual hostage in that house.
Now, for the first time, Mariah Carey tells her story about life in the Golden Mansion, about the startling video message in her music.
It wasn't an accident.
And about her ex-husband, who is still her boss. Barbara Walters' exclusive interview with surprising, sexy Mariah. Those stories tonight, Friday, November 13th, 1998, after this brief message.
Need a new look? Get the new mouse. It doesn't just sand. It also scrubs, removes, and polishes. It's a whole new breed of tool. The Mouse, built by Black & Decker.
Been baking my chunky chicken pot pie. It's back at KFC. Flaky crust, chunks of chicken, loads of veggies, just $3.99 with a drink. Now that's some meal. So come on in and bring your appetite.
Hello, it's me, your skin, pleading with you to get new Vaseline Intensive Care Lotion with Skin Protection Complex. First, it heals me. Then Vaseline protects me from the sun, cold, wind, even water. Hey, take care of me. Take Vaseline Intensive Care of me.
When car batteries are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. Searching for an economic echinacea to help support your immune system? Nature's Resource knows you should look for an echinacea that contains glycolic acid and polyphenols to get results. And unlike some, Nature's Resource guarantees the potency and purity you need. Make your herbal resource Nature's Resource. Follow the knowledge.
From ABC News in New York, Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters.
Good evening and welcome to 2020 Friday. If there is a baby or a toddler in your home, or if you plan to buy a toy for one this holiday season, you should know there's a controversy brewing about the way certain toys are manufactured. A few years ago, we were warned about small toy parts that could pose a choking hazard. Well, now there may be something else to worry about.
They sure may. This is a major 2020 investigation. Not just here, but abroad. Babies love to put almost everything in their mouths, but some European countries are trying to ban certain baby toys because of what they're made of. Yet these same toys are widely available in any toy store in America. Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross takes a close look at what goes into some soft plastic toys before they go into your child's mouth.
This is the home of the Brett family in Westchester County, New York. Night or day here, at playtime or bath time, 9.5-month-old Elizabeth Brett almost always has something in her mouth.
Elizabeth is teething all the time.
A careful parent, Elizabeth's mother Laura says she's always assumed that any toy sold in this country was tested and safe.
If it's big enough that she's not going to choke on it, I let her put it in her mouth, as long as it's not dirty.
But what Elizabeth's mother did not know until we told her, and in fact could not know because toy companies don't have to put it on the label, is that most soft plastic toys like this ducky are made with a possibly harmful chemical that has been found to slowly seep out as children chew on them, unseen, in amounts only now being measured.
I'm scared. I'm scared that these chemicals are coming out into my baby's mouth. She's tiny.
The chemical is what's known as a phthalate. It's what makes hard plastic soft. And while the science on phthalates in toys is still evolving and at times at odds, studies at high doses in laboratory animals have shown that phthalates are toxic to the liver and kidney and cause cancer.
Baby is going to put this in his mouth and he is going to be literally sucking the phthalates out of this.
Dr. Frederick von Saal, professor of reproductive and neurobiology at the University of Missouri, is a member of a group of American scientists urging more caution about chemicals such as phthalates because there is so little research information on long-term effects in humans.
Essentially, your child is the laboratory animal that is going to provide that information. I don't want my child being used in that way.
And as we found in a laboratory test conducted for 2020, every one of 12 soft plastic toys we examined contained phthalates. The rubber ducky isn't rubber, but plastic, made soft by phthalates, around 15% phthalates. Squeezem's Ernie, 16% phthalates. This teether, 22%. This one, around 38% phthalates. But what's most important, and still being researched, is just how much leaks out into the mouths of children and how much it takes to be a risk. Even so, parents we gathered at this New York City play center were astounded to learn that a chemical like that comes out in the first place.
If it comes out that the toys that she has at home contain this chemical, you know, they're going in the garbage.
The fact is, the federal government is only now doing its own test on the phthalates in these widely sold toys, and for years has relied on the toy and chemical industry to make sure such toys and teethers were safe.
The levels that would require any type of toxic effect are so high that a child would have to literally eat toys in order to reach those particular levels.
Jim Santori, a spokesman for the Chemical Manufacturers Association, which represents the companies that make phthalates, including the biggest, Exxon, says from what the industry knows, parents have no need for any concern.
I would tell parents a small portion of it does come out. That small portion that comes out, that minute amount, is not harmful to the child.
As best you know?
As best we know.
But you don't know with certainty. That's what you're saying.
I can say, based on our 25 years of studies, we strongly believe they're safe.
Nevertheless, the possible risk from phthalates is now provoking political fireworks because of what's happening overseas in Europe, particularly in Denmark, a tiny country steeped in storybook tradition that has taken a much different approach than the United States when it comes to risk to children and the chemical industry.
They reflect, enormous economic interests. I try to reflect the environmental concerns of the people.
Svend Auken is the Minister of the Environment in Denmark, and he has now moved to legally ban in Danish stores all soft plastic toys containing phthalates intended for children under the age of 3, even though there is no hard scientific proof of any harm to humans.
Which parent in the whole world would say that I will safely put my child at risk until there is conclusive scientific proof that it is harmful or hazardous?
Auken, who led Denmark to become the first country in the world to ban asbestos, says history will prove him right again with phthalates. Recent tests by government scientists in Denmark found phthalates coming out of certain toys in much greater amounts than American and Dutch scientists have found.
And if scientists tell me that there is this risk, I say it's not my children going to be subjected to them.
So just the risk?
Yeah.
Let me ask you about some toys that we bought in some American stores.
That's a teething ring.
That's banned?
That would be banned. And then this surely would be banned.
Surely would be banned?
Yeah. It's not the dog that's dangerous, it's the chemicals in the dog.
I think that it is politically motivated. It's done for their self-aggrandizement, and it has nothing to do with good science.
David Miller is the president of the Toy Manufacturers of America, which is now actively fighting the toy ban in Denmark. Miller says phthalates have been safely used in toys for 40 years.
We are experts in evaluating whether children are put at risk.
You wouldn't call this a risk?
No, not at all.
But no parent wants a toy that leaks chemicals that could be dangerous in the hands or the mouths of their babies. You agree with that, right?
No. Leaking chemicals in and of itself is not a hazard.
That chemical coming out?
Is not a risk.
Whatsoever?
Whatsoever.
What the toy industry says this is all about is Greenpeace, the activist environmental group, which first raised the issue of phthalates in children's toys 2 years ago.
Greenpeace is here today.
And earlier this year, barged into a meeting of toy executives in Toronto being run by David Miller.
Now leave here because you're breaking the law.
Miller says it is the pressure tactics of Greenpeace, not science, which have caused officials in Denmark to act.
It's all based on Greenpeace, you think?
Well, our friends in Scandinavia are hypersensitive, if you will, to environmental issues.
It's not a risk put forward by some environmental fanatic. It's a risk put forward by the scientific community saying, we are concerned, we are investigating, we are studying, but we believe from our preliminary findings that there is a very real risk here, very real danger.
The ban appears to have broad public support in Denmark. The huge Danish toy maker Lego has now reformulated its toy factories at a cost of over $1 million to phase out the use of phthalates in its soft plastic parts.
It's better to get rid of the risk before they occur.
Or Hillesborg is Lego's corporate environmental manager.
Could other toy companies do the same thing you've done?
If we can do it, I think others could do it as well.
And now the concern has spread beyond Denmark, across Europe, with officials in Austria, Sweden, and Norway ready to join the ban, and Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Spain asking for a voluntary withdrawal of certain toys made with phthalates. But not in the United States, where 2020 found that the toy and chemical industry have powerful allies in the Clinton administration. These diplomatic cables from the State and Commerce Departments, obtained by the environmental group Greenpeace and provided to 2020, lay out in a kind of detail rarely seen how Exxon, which makes phthalates, and Mattel, the country's biggest toy maker, were able to get American diplomats across Europe to go to work against the proposed ban. One cable sent from Washington says it clearly. The ban could result in an enormous loss of trade in toy sales for Mattel and others, and should be blocked in time for the Christmas purchasing season.
There are a lot more interests at stake here than selling toys over the Christmas season. We're talking about the health and safety of children. And on that score, Mattel and Exxon shouldn't be calling the shots.
Jeff Wise is the policy director of the National Environmental Trust, a nonprofit organization funded by major foundations.
There's a lot we know about phthalates, but there's still some uncertainty. Now, for whatever reason, the administration decided to give the benefit of the doubt here, not to kids, but to toy manufacturers and chemical companies.
Some 18 American embassies across Europe were involved in trying to protect U.S. toys made with phthalates. Much of the campaign run out of this building in Brussels, the United States mission to the European Union, headed by this man, Donald Kirsch, the chargé d'affaires at the mission.
Companies came to us and they came to Washington agencies to say they had concerns. That's correct.
Is it troubling to you the extent to which the lobbyists for Mattel and Exxon seem to be calling some of the shots here?
I'm not particularly troubled by that at all. No, I think that it is.
You're not?
I think it is. What we're doing is what U.S. embassies abroad do for American interests.
But environmental groups say the cables show American diplomats were spreading false and misleading information, including one letter to a top European official, flatly asserting that
a substantial body of research leaves few, if any, unanswered questions about risk from phthalate.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's accurate?
That is our presumption. That is from what we have been told. That's right.
That's simply not true. There are many questions about the risks of phthalates.
And who told you that?
Our own people, our government agencies.
a number of agencies were consulted, but it turns out no one in Washington ever asked the officials at the Centers for Disease Control, where Dr. Richard Jackson heads the only group of government scientists currently studying the effects of phthalates in humans.
The Centers for Disease Control was not consulted about the hazards of phthalates.
Dr. Jackson says phthalates may not be a big risk, but until there is more research, may be an unnecessary risk.
If products can be provided to children that don't contain some of these chemicals, that's to the good.
Dr. Jackson's view is not reflected anywhere in the position being put forward by the United States government in its efforts to protect American toy sales.
The U.S. government position is that until there is scientific evidence that would suggest that it is proper, it would be unjustified to ban them.
So, while the federal agency in charge of toy safety is studying phthalates, toys which are being taken off shelves across Europe continue to be sold to American parents who have no way to know which toys do and do not contain this possibly harmful chemical.
Well, I would advise parents to simply stay away from toys that are made of soft plastic vinyl. The general rule of thumb is the stiffer, the better, the fewer phthalates it's likely to have.
Should parents throw those toys out?
Absolutely not. There is someone with a political motive shouting, if you will, your children are at risk. We believe that's not the case.
The American toy industry says that you and others are just trying to scare people.
I'm not trying to scare people, I'm trying to protect children.
And you are acting far too hastily, prematurely.
What is premature reaction? Is that to wait and see the scientists fight it out? Wait till the damage has been done? That, I think, is not wisdom. That is irresponsibility.
Well, it's hard to know which toys contain this chemical because there are no labeling requirements. But you should know that most pacifiers and bottle nipples are made of silicone or latex and do not contain phthalates.
As for toys, during the last few weeks, as our investigation unfolded, a number of major companies, while maintaining their toys are safe, said they'll begin phasing out the chemical in certain toys. Hasbro, Mattel, which owns Tyco and Fisher-Price, along with Safety First and Disney, our corporate parent, say that they'll stop using phthalates in toys intended for babies' mouths. Little Tikes, Gerber, and the First Years say that they'll phase out the use of phthalates in all their toys. And Kiko says it stopped using phthalates in teething toys a year ago. But remember, these toys have not been recalled, and most are still on store shelves across the country.
Can you imagine sweating like this when you're not working out? For some people, it's an embarrassing problem, but one with a startling solution. Dr. Timothy Johnson has the surprising news when 2020 Friday continues.
Last weekend, Beth took her Ford ZX2 out for a little adventure.
You know that van is still following us?
And she found it.
Let's lose them. Yeah.
Of course, the ZX2 makes a perfect getaway car. As long as you know who you're getting away from. Oh, well. Hey, she would have hated having a chauffeur anyway. Ford Escort ZX2, built to last.
If you could leave just a little bit over at every meal, it would really add up.
Imagine what you could avoid eating in a single month. If you're significantly overweight, 30 pounds or more, depending on height, your doctor has something that may help you eat less.
It's called Meridia, and it can help you lose weight and keep it off. You've got to do your part. You've got to do your part with diet and exercise, but Meridia can help.
Meridia is a prescription medicine, and it's not for everyone. It can substantially raise blood pressure, and it's not for people who are pregnant or nursing, under 16, or taking anything else for weight loss, depression, Parkinson's disease, migraines, or for people with anorexia, glaucoma, or serious heart problems. Side effects may include headache, constipation, insomnia, and dry mouth. It's a controlled substance, so patients who abuse Meridia may become dependent. For more information, ask your doctor or call 1-888-4-MERIDIA.
I'm ready.
Meridia. You do your part, we'll do ours.
When can you come home?
I don't know.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
With the exceptional purchase power of Visa Platinum, you can throw caution to the wind and fly across an ocean to be with the one you need, the one you miss, the one you love.
Hello?
And so can she.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
As often as it takes. Visa Platinum, it's everywhere you want to be.
Mr. Box, hang on to your head, because sales of Jack's Spicy Chicken are about to take off. Imagine, every sandwich comes with Chicken Jack. Cock-a-doodle profit. Spicy Jack flamenco dancer. Spicy Jack the pirate.
Look, people buy Jack's Spicy Chicken because it's a real chicken breast filet that has just the right amount of spice, and it's topped with fresh lettuce and tomato.
You're gonna love Flaming Jack.
Security.
Saturday on ABC.
I'm pregnant.
Emma Thompson, Danny DeVito, and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is this your first?
Yes.
Junior ABC Saturday.
We're suing you. What?
If you mess with these lawyers,
$30 million?
it could get ugly.
Hey!
That was completely out of line.
Yelling
What if she gets him life?
I mean really ugly.
We're every bit as despicable and cutthroat as you say.
And we're not kidding.
I am the judge.
Then act like one.
All new Practice, ABC Sunday, 10/9 Central.
The last time Denver lost? Last year on a Monday night. This is one tough show. Denver meets Kansas City, Monday on ABC.
We all perspire and spend a substantial amount of money on antiperspirants trying to control what is a normal human function. But what if you couldn't stop sweating? Did you know that 1 in 100 people sweats uncontrollably? This is a bizarre and embarrassing condition that can affect the whole body, but especially the hands, armpits, feet, and face. And it's not caused by nerves or anxiety. It's turbocharged sweat glands producing an excessive amount of perspiration. Dr. Timothy Johnson reports there is new hope now for this strange affliction from a most unlikely source.
Girl, I want to make you sweat. Sweat till you can't sweat no more. And if you cry out, I'm gonna push it some more.
Sweating is great when you're working out, but it's not always so great when you're trying just to work.
Just how noticeable is this? Huh?
It's a movie scene that's hard to forget. A struggling television reporter finally gets a shot at the big time. Except he sweats big time when the cameras start to roll.
5 seconds.
Actor Albert Brooks paints an excruciatingly realistic picture of hyperhidrosis, the medical term for excessive sweating.
You're making too much out of this. I bet you were the only one aware of it.
People phoned in.
There were complaining phone calls because you were sweating.
No, nice ones, worried that I was having a heart attack. At some point, it was so off the chart bad, it just got funny.
But it really isn't funny, says Dr. Darrell Regal, president-elect of the American Academy of Dermatology.
We can chuckle sometimes about issues related to sweating, but people who have severe sweating problems, to them it's not a joking matter.
It was a tremendous problem,
constantly sweating. It happened continually all the time.
Brandon Berg, a computer specialist, would sweat through his shirt in 15 minutes.
Can you imagine just sweating under your arms to the point where it's wet always? This whole area is just wet water, and not like a body odor, not a smelly smell, just a wet smell.
Brandon tried everything from prescription strength antiperspirants to electric shocks to his armpits to surgery to remove some of his sweat glands. Nothing worked, and his humiliation was not finished.
The most extreme thing, I had to wear Kotex under my arms. That was the last straw.
You may want to jot down some of the items.
Jim Russell suffers from palmar hyperhidrosis, the most common type of excessive sweating. His hands are like sweat factories.
If I were in a situation where a normal person would have a little bit of perspiration, I would have a virtual rainforest going on. I mean, it would be totally wet. Thank you.
Like many people with sweaty palms, Jim hates to shake hands. But sometimes it's just unavoidable.
Yes.
I'm
Hi.
Jerry Welch.
Well, how are you?
I'm actually running for mayor.
Running for mayor. Well, pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
Yes, indeed. And I just tell people I don't shake, my hands are wet, and then they look at you like, have you seen a psychiatrist? You know.
There is only one permanent solution to hyperhidrosis, and that is surgery to cut the sympathetic nerves controlling the sweat glands. Jim sought out Dr. Keith Naunheim, chief of cardiothoracic surgery at St. Louis University Medical School.
This is a very safe procedure. The chances are excellent that he'll have a good result. The quoted literature suggests it's anywhere from 93 to 98% effective with a very low risk.
Dr. Naunheim performed a minimally invasive procedure on Jim called an endoscopic thoracic sympathectomy. It's performed under general anesthesia, but is a big advance over the older conventional open chest surgery that required a long hospital stay and convalescence. Jim wanted to have his right hand done first, his hand-shaking hand. So Dr. Naunheim made two small incisions between the ribs on Jim's right side and then inserted a video camera and special surgical instruments.
So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to feel the ribs.
Once Dr. Naunheim found the section of the sympathetic nerve chain responsible for hand sweating, he carefully dissected it and then cut a section of it to interrupt the nerve impulses. The actual procedure took about a half hour.
Hi, how are you? Great. Everything went well.
Dr. Naunheim told Jim's family that the operation was successful, although Jim did suffer a complication when air got in his chest wall. But despite the discomfort, Jim was able to deliver a speech just 2 days after the surgery.
I still have suturing over here, and I feel so sorry for you because I couldn't put any deodorant on this side at all because I can't raise my arm.
The sympathectomy procedure works best for sweaty palms. The success rate for feet, faces, and armpits is lower, varying from about 40% to 90%. And there are possible side effects and complications. For example, as many as 50% of patients develop what's called compensatory sweating. They experience an increase of sweating elsewhere, particularly on the trunk or thighs.
Carol, this is 2.0?
But now there's a brand new way to treat excessive sweating without surgery. And you won't believe where it comes from. Botulinum A is one of the world's most deadly biological weapons. UN inspectors have been searching for hidden stockpiles of this chemical inside Iraq. But used in very tiny doses by physicians, this drug, known as Botox, has become the latest weapon in the war against sweat.
This is probably the biggest development in the history of sweating for people that have a major abnormal sweating problem. I'm excited about it. I think this is a major breakthrough.
San Francisco dermatologist Dr. Richard Glogow and other doctors had been using Botox for about 5 years to treat frown lines and wrinkles. They noticed that it also stops sweating in the face.
The way it works in sweating is that the Botox prevents the release of acetylcholine, which is the chemical transmitter at the nerve ending that actually stimulates the sweat glands.
Dr. Glogow decided to try Botox first on armpits, and Brandon Berg was his first test case. At the time, Brandon was still wearing sanitary napkins under his arms to soak up the sweat.
And to his delight and my astonishment, his underarm sweating stopped completely, and it was gone for well over 6 months. And we said, Eureka, we're onto something real here.
I'm free. I can walk around a room. I don't have to stand rigid. I can lift my arms. I can write on a board. I can make hand gestures. It's wonderful. It's completely changed my life.
The results are impressive. Look at the difference in this man between his one armpit that was injected with Botox and the one that was not.
So we're using tiny, tiny amounts of very potent poison to get the effect that we're looking for.
Sweaty hands were the next target for Dr. Glogow. 17-year-old Andrea Medeiros says she encountered problems every day because of her wet hands.
Driving, shaking hands, taking tests like writing, paper gets real wet. Just everything that, you need your hands for.
Andrea's mother had another concern.
And I just figured when she got older it was going to be hard. She'd want to hold hands, do some of that stuff.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
You too.
Nice dry handshake.
Yeah.
That's great.
Andrea became Dr. Glogow's youngest Botox patient. Here are Andrea's hands before treatment. 5 days later, they were dry, just like they are here.
So, anybody else notice?
Well, yeah, people like my boyfriend.
Really? Yeah. That's great.
Next on the horizon, using Botox for the face and feet. But Botox is not for everyone. Its effects are only temporary, lasting about 6 months. Then it has to be repeated. And it's expensive, about $600 a hand, and most insurance companies don't yet cover it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're very welcome.
As for surgery, Jim Russell is delighted with his more permanent result. But even Jim's surgeon is keeping an eye on Botox.
If indeed Botox is proven to be effective long-term in a high percentage of patients, boy, they got my vote. That would be just great. If you can avoid a surgical procedure with a more simple procedure, a less invasive one, God bless them, that's exactly what we ought to do.
Andrea Medeiros agrees, and she is delighted to be holding hands. No sweat.
And the early test results show promise. All of this talk of excessive sweating made me think of Richard Nixon. During his first television debate with John F. Kennedy, Nixon sweated profusely. He lost the debate and the election. Just think what might have happened if Richard Nixon had known about Botox.
Mariah Carey talks for the first time about her stormy marriage and divorce from the man who is still her boss. Barbara Walters' revealing interview when 2020 Friday continues.
Now that the Bunny has the new advanced battery, it's a whole new ballgame. You have to be prepared for just about anything. Ain't that right, boys?
New Energizer Advanced Formula. No battery lasts longer.
Mom, I'm nervous.
Texas.
Austin?
You're gonna do great. Kansas.
Topeka.
Hawaii.
Honolulu. Atlanta. Sacramento.
You are good.
Keep them coming, Mom.
Now a study confirms what you've always known. A smart breakfast like this with whole grain oat Cheerios helps kids do better in school.
Mom, give me a tough one.
Vermont.
Montpelier.
The one and only Cheerios.
She can help you with the tough ones.
Mom.
If you looked into your local carrier's phone lines, what time period would they place your company in? Why live in the past when local's future is right through here? On Net, where local, national, and global all flow over one network owned by one company. Oh, and did I mention it'll save you money? On Net from MCI WorldCom.
Every tree needs the proper nutrients to grow. The same thing applies to the growth of this tree. If you're concerned your child isn't getting enough nutrition, ask your doctor about Pediasure. It provides complete, balanced nutrition for kids. Pediasure.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again.
On 2020 Sunday, convicted of murder, a fugitive of justice, an international manhunt. Only Connie Chung catches America's most wanted fugitive.
How did her body end up in your steamer trunk?
Plus, Barbara Walters' interview with Christopher Reeve about his triumphant return to the screen and the new twists in his remake of Rear Window on 2020 Sunday.
Guests tell us things.
Boxers and briefs.
Maybe it's the couch.
Monday, Kenneth Branagh on The View. Is this music video really about Mariah Carey's marriage? You've heard the rumors. Now she tells Barbara Walters her story. When 2020 Friday continues, after this, from our ABC stations.
Good evening, I'm Kathy Marshall.
And I'm John Marlar. You think your car needs repairs. What happens when the mechanic goes under the hood?
Sometimes you could be charged too much, even charged for repairs you don't need. Tonight, a Two on Your Side investigation.
Also tonight, the pressure is on Iraq. A military strike may be only days away.
The story's on Channel 2 News at 11.
Now's a great time to get a Chevy S10. Now's a great time to get a Chevy Suburban. And now's a great time to talk to your Chevrolet dealers Northwest.
How to stay away from holiday debt, Monday at 9.
They know where you live, and they're already in your house. Millions of airborne irritants like pollen, bacteria, mold, and smoke. Take control with the best microparticle air filter, Filtrete from 3M. Filtrete captures microparticles better than ordinary filters, up to 30 times better. And Filtrete is used by the American Lung Association's Health House Project. Should anything less be in your house, Filtrete filters, another 3M innovation.
Now, and for just 3 more days, Future Shop is featuring gigantic savings on, you name it. Save on all dishwashers, big screen TVs, surround sound receivers, CD players, camcorders, and hi-fi VCRs. Plus, take 12 months to pay on all computers and notebooks. But hurry, there's just 3 more days to save big on brand names like Sony, Compaq, KitchenAid, and more. So hurry to Future Shop, because this sale ends Saturday. And when it comes to saving big like this, there's just 3 more days.
What is the lure of cults? Former members tell what life was like inside a cult and how they escaped its grip. Watch Town Hall, Sunday at 6.
Gary Shanley and Hanson. Next, Rosie.
"2020 Friday continues. Now, Barbara Walters.
She is only 28, and she is already the best-selling female recording artist of the decade. Her name, Mariah Carey. Great-looking, enormously talented, and complicated. Last March, she divorced her husband, Tommy Mottola. Okay, but he's the president of the music company which owns and releases her albums. You may have heard the rumors about Tommy Mottola's so-called hold on Mariah. Why did she marry him? Exactly, why did she leave him? Questions never fully answered until tonight. And what about her childhood cloaked in secrecy? Now Mariah Carey speaks out to me as you've never heard her. Mariah Carey exploded on the scene in 1990. Only weeks after her debut album hit the airwaves, this young woman with a 7-octave range was the buzz of the industry. Her album rocketed up the charts and stayed on top for 11 weeks. It produced a record 4 consecutive #1 singles and won 2 Grammy Awards.
Mariah Carey!
Mariah Carey was just 20 years old.
I really had this pure determination my whole life. Since I can remember, I knew that I wanted to do this.
You wanted to be a singer or a star?
I wanted to be a singer and a star.
Mariah, how you doing?
Mariah has become a star, and today she lives like one on the east side of Manhattan, only 30 miles from where she was raised, but a world apart from a childhood marked by instability and insecurity. She was the youngest, by almost a decade, of 3 children born to a white mother and an African-American father. When you were growing up, did people consider you black or white?
I don't think they knew what to consider me. I felt really like an outcast because I didn't feel like I had anybody to identify with.
Being multiracial is still an issue for you today?
It's something that I grew up with, and it's something that stays with me, and I felt like I always had something to prove because of that, and I think that's one of the things that made me who I am.
Mariah was a toddler when her father left the family. Her mother, an opera singer, was forced to take whatever jobs she could find, even when that meant working nights and leaving Mariah alone. Then there were the dark secrets, the ones she doesn't talk about much, but hints at in her lyrics. You said I was a wayward child with the weight of the world that I held deep inside. I learned many things that little ones shouldn't know. Part of this had to do with your sister. It's on the record that when you were very young, she was on drugs. Yes? Okay. That she was a prostitute? You must have known this. What was it like for a little girl?
It was a very difficult thing to see. But I think what it did for me was provide me with an inner strength and something I knew that I didn't want to be. That's why I will never be a promiscuous person. I will never be on drugs. I'll never be too out of it to know what I'm doing or getting myself into. And because I saw all these things growing up, I went the other way.
In a world that seems so troubled, Mariah found refuge in music.
Music has always been my saving grace. It's always been what has made me feel special when I didn't feel special or I felt like I didn't belong, whatever. That made me feel special.
In high school, while most other 16-year-olds were living normal teenage lives, Mariah was fleeing Long Island for Manhattan at every chance to write music with a partner, sometimes until 3 in the morning. Most mothers would have been terrified letting their 16-year-old go to New York, stay up all night writing music with some young partner, some young man. Weren't you concerned?
I really wasn't, because I knew that's what she was going to do. I knew that she was carving out her life and that she was going to be a singer.
After graduating from high school, barely, Mariah moved to the city. She took odd jobs as a waitress, a hat-check girl, a backup singer, and then magic. At a party one night, Mariah met the president of Sony Music, Tommy Mottola. He was given a demo tape, and the rest is music history. Mariah signed with Mottola and spent the next 2 years writing songs for her debut album. Mottola spent money. A reported $800,000 on the album, $500,000 on the first video, and $1 million more to market both. The feeling is that he made you, his guidance, his helping you choose the songs, his publicity machine, his this, his that it wouldn't have happened without him.
Well, I don't believe that, because I know that I wouldn't have given up, and I do know that I was very close to having a deal prior to meeting him. But I do believe that he was very instrumental because he did see the potential.
So here you were, 19? Okay, and he was 20 years older, and he's interested in you romantically. What did you think? And he was married, by the way.
Well, he said he was separated, whatever, but...
I don't want to play psychologist, but 20 years older than you, Tommy Mottola. Was he a father figure?
Probably, yeah.
Is it true that Tommy Mottola was the first man that you went to bed with? You have said this. Yeah?
Right. Because, again, not wanting to get myself into those bad situations where you're, having a baby and you're a teenager, that...
In 1993, 5 years and 3 albums after they met, Mariah and Tommy got married in a lavish, celebrity-studded ceremony reminiscent of the royal wedding of Diana and Prince Charles.
Tommy gave the wedding.
In what way?
Tommy paid for the wedding.
And decided
Tommy
what
directed it. Tommy designed it. Yes, it was a Tommy production. And it was wonderful. We had a marvelous time, and she looked beautiful and he looked handsome, and it was a fairy tale.
But it was a fairy tale that went sour. More of Mariah Carey in a moment.
Hi, Pat and Betty at the Reynolds Kitchens. We'd like to make a home-cooked meal with Reynolds wrap that's as easy as counting to 4.
No way.
Okay, 1.
Place chicken and vegetables on a sheet of Reynolds Wrap heavy-duty aluminum foil.
2.
Fold it into a packet.
3. Pop them in the oven, Betty.
Packets cook food faster and seal in juices.
4.
Open for a scrumptious dinner.
Reynolds Quick and Easy Packet Cooking makes good food better.
Pat, we need a number for cleanup.
Send your customers a FedEx package in 2 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Up to $11.
Send your customers a UPS package in 2 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Up to $11.
Send your customers a priority mail package in 2 to 3 days, and it makes a big, big impression. Cost? Just $3.
So, what's your priority?
Trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Fortunately, there's Nasonex nasal spray, an effective nasal allergy prescription medicine taken once a day that relieves sneezing, itchy runny nose, and congestion. Indoors and out. Now that's wonderful. Nasonex. What good days are like every day. The most common side effects were headache, viral infections, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
Been baking my chunky chicken pot pie. It's back at KFC. Flaky crust, chunks of chicken, loads of veggies, just $3.99 with a drink. Now that's some meal. So come on in and bring your appetite.
2020 winner of the Emmy Award for Excellence in Journalism. Sunday on This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts. The latest on the showdown with Saddam Hussein. Crisis in the Gulf. ABC, Sunday.
One of our own is in need of a heart transplant.
I'm worried about Bobby, Doctor.
Now all you can do is pray.
Please don't let him die.
All new NYPD Blue, ABC Tuesday. From the producer of Armageddon and The Rock, his first television event. The last place a space shuttle crew would want to land is the only place it can. The world premiere, Max Q Emergency Landing. Thursday only on ABC.
Tonight, PI's last night in Vegas.
I'm a little poor, a little hungover, and apparently married to a woman named Shirley.
Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher in Las Vegas tonight.
Seemed to be living a fairy tale, a singing career that rocketed her name to the top of the charts, a marriage to Tommy Mottola, the powerful head of Sony Music, and wealth beyond her wildest dreams. But there was trouble in paradise, trouble she's never talked about publicly until now. Mariah Carey and Tommy Mottola seemed happily married. Together, they built an extravagant house with 2 pools, a recording studio, a rifle range, 11 bathrooms. It was a poor girl's dream house. But life in the golden world, as Mariah called it, quickly became very confining. Tommy Mottola was not only very much in control of Mariah's professional life, but she says he tried to control her personal life as well. I want to go through some of the rumors that have been written that we've all heard. You have not talked about them until now. So let's clear the deck. Let's talk about them. Describe to me, for example, what some of the restrictions were that you found so difficult.
Well, it's not like he had a rule book and he said, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. It's just that the nature of our relationship, because he was so much, because he was older and because he was more experienced in every way, I guess it became oppressive in a lot of ways.
Tommy didn't like the way you dressed. He would not have liked you to dress like this.
Well, towards the end, it got a little bit better, but no, he had some issues with that.
He wanted you to wear the high neck, the long, you know, to look a little more demure.
Probably.
You got movie offers. Tommy did not want you to act, to be in movies.
Right.
Why not?
Probably because he felt that, well, what he says is because he felt it would be bad for my career.
Being in movies would be bad for your career.
Well, that's what he used to say. So.
And so you turned down movie roles?
I was not told about them. I would read things like in Variety or Us or whatever magazine.
And you never knew that you were offered them?
No. I mean, I would have said yes.
Any roles you know of today that you might have had you been able to say yes?
Yeah, but I'm probably better off not saying what they are.
Roles that made somebody else a star?
Pretty much, yeah.
Mariah, you know that it has been written that you were a virtual hostage in that house.
Right.
Were you? Could you come and go when you wanted? Could you see people you wanted to see?
It's not that I couldn't. I mean, I could have walked out, too. You know, I put myself in a situation...
But he would have been mad.
Yes,
it would have been a thing.
It would have been a thing.
Is it true that Tommy eavesdropped on you through an intercom system or would redial if you made a phone call, that kind of thing? Did you feel that? True or not, did you feel it? Obviously you did.
I have a record coming out.
A record that will be released by the company Tommy Mottola still heads, and that has Mariah under contract for 2 more albums. When you finally said, I must leave, was it one thing or just this accumulation of things?
It was the accumulation of things. What started to happen was I started meeting other people who were young and in the music business and successful, but also led their own lives. And I started to see the differences, and people started saying to me, how can you handle this type of situation? You shouldn't go through your life always in fear of the next argument or the next issue or the next problem.
So 4 years after the storybook wedding, Mariah left Tommy Mottola. Were you worried when Mariah and Tommy broke up and he's the head of Sony Records?
Absolutely.
You know, yeah?
Absolutely. Petrified. Because I felt if he can make a career, he can break a career.
Do you think that he might do that? Try to hurt her career?
I hope not. I hope he doesn't.
But there's that doubt.
Always.
Are you afraid? He listens to this interview and he gets mad. And he may not want to put out your next album. I mean, he is in control in that sense of your albums, yes?
He's the head of the company, so he's the one who's calling the shots. And really, I would like to have a good relationship with him.
Are you still in love with Tommy Mottola?
No, I'm not in love with him. I care about him as a person, and I would like to be able to talk to the good guy when he's being the good guy.
So far, he seems to be the good guy. Shortly after her divorce, Mariah released an album for Tommy's company called Butterfly. It debuted at #1 on the charts. Ironically, the first video shows a woman being held hostage in an empty mansion and escaping.
Come on.
And people said, this is you. And you said, oh, no, but it was, wasn't it?
Yes, there were a lot of elements that were similar.
Yeah.
But I did it because I wanted an excuse to change into a lot of little James Bond outfits and have fun and swim in the water and be in Puerto Rico, because those were all things that I hadn't been able to do before.
But the hostage business, the business of being in, in that house and tied to the chair or whatever, that wasn't an accident.
It wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident. But it was very, also, I mean, it was like a spy spoof.
For Mariah, Butterfly represents the end of one era in her life and the beginning of another. Spread your wings and prepare to fly, she writes in the title song, because you have become a butterfly.
Spread your wings and fly.
She's going out on the town, doing things she says she couldn't do while married, maybe making up for what she feels she missed. Since your separation, you have changed your physical image. You dress differently.
That's true.
Yeah. Very differently. Is it fun?
It's a lot of fun.
It's sexier.
It's definitely much more true to who I am. Here's a long one. Okay, simple, strappy back.
Your skirts are getting shorter and the tops are getting lower. It's fun for you to look sexier, isn't it?
You know what? It's fun. It's like being a little kid and playing dress up, and you know.
But there are also adult responsibilities in this new life. Mariah fired the manager and lawyer who had been hired by Tommy Mottola and has taken charge of her own career. She's about to release a new album called Number Ones, and she's hoping to break into the movies. Today, at 28, Mariah has personal responsibilities as well. The sister is HIV positive. The sister who abused drugs. You help to take care of her. You support your mother. There's a lot on your plate.
I think when you reach a certain level of success, you have a lot more responsibilities. And actually buying my mom a house a couple years ago was one of the best things I ever experienced in my life.
I give my all to have just one more night with you.
All your life, as a very little girl, you wanted to sing and be a star. Now you sing and you're a star. What's the ultimate ambition?
Hopefully continue to be successful and to find happiness, too, because I'm still looking for that. And I don't like to say that because I don't want to seem ungrateful. I know what I have. But still, inside, I don't feel like there's anyone who necessarily truly and fully understands me or who I can trust completely.
So the butterfly has spread her wings, but it's still a strange world out there.
I would say so.
Spread your wings and fly, butterfly.
By the way, we spoke to Tommy Mottola's representative today, and he said, and I quote, Tommy Mottola will continue his good working professional relationship with Mariah. He has the highest respect for her as an artist and will always continue to help her, unquote. Mariah Carey's new album is going to be released next week. It's called Number Ones. It's a compilation of her biggest hits and a powerful new duet with Whitney Houston. So it looks as if Mariah has nothing to worry about. We'll be right back.
With the threat of missiles about to be launched, the battle tonight is a war of words between the United States and Iraq.
From Honduras tonight, stories of despair and stories of hope. Steve Dunn has just returned from the heartbreak. I'm John Merler.
And I'm Kathy Marshall. The story's next at 11.
The more power, the quicker the flash, the brighter the smiles. Introducing new Duracell Ultra with the power to get faster flashes and up to 100 more pictures. New Duracell Ultra. More power, more life.
There is something you can do right now that more and more researchers are linking to surprising health benefits. These Kellogg cereals. A healthier life is within your reach. So tomorrow morning, help yourself. Kellogg's.
Join Diane Sawyer and me for 2020 Sunday, when Connie Chung meets a convicted killer. The first U.S. interview with notorious fugitive Ira Einhorn. His girlfriend's body was found stuffed in his closet, but he's free, living the good life in France, mocking U.S. justice for nearly 20 years.
I don't know whether I'm just plain lucky or not. I think they've just been plain stupid.
Is Ira Einhorn getting away with murder? 2020 Sunday at 9, 8 Central.
And on 2020 Wednesday, one of the grittiest stories we've ever reported. Diane Sawyer takes us to a place where boys prey upon boys, and rape, fear, and violence are part of life. It's a jail for some of the toughest kids in the country. You'll be there as new inmates learn the rules of a cruel place. What kind of adults will these